we go. We're recording even better. Boys,
Let's do it.
we're here. There it is.
There
Man,
it is.
what a day to be hanging out on a balcony with your friends talking about WoW.
Exactly.
Classic WoW, Shadowlands, everything. All of it.
Hell yeah, brother.
Everybody looking mad
Man,
cute.
Maxamos, how are you doing today, man?
I'm well, man. I'm well. I'm on the balcony. It's a little moist in Miami today. It rained a bunch,
Okay,
but
yeah.
it stopped raining long enough for me to be out here. So it's
Perfect
looking
timing.
pretty good. I
Yep.
got my water. I got my wine. Very cozy. Got my
Perfect.
lights, and I'm ready to just talk World of Warcraft with the boys.
Dude, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Boys, we are obviously live on Twitch, twitch.tv/chocolate, and we do upload these to YouTube as well. So if you ever miss an episode, you can always go watch it there. It is definitely moist in Florida. Florida is kind of like
Florida's always moist.
Florida is moist, but it reminds me of Stranglethorn Vale. It's like a jungle. It's like a jungle,
I guess
and it's
so.
rampant with crime. It's-
Sometimes it can be Swamp of Sorrows. Okay.
it can be a little bit of an Ungoro crater, if you ask me.
True.
Can I actually? Do you mind if I do like a quick pano? Do you want
Of
to see?
course, please.
Yeah.
Please,
All right.
please
Here,
do.
Boys,
let me
let's-
show the boys.
If you're we don't have this uploaded
If
to
anybody's
Spotify or
unfamiliar
anything.
with
Yeah,
Maxamos,
look at
his
that.
balcony streams.
Look at
He
that.
streams this every Sunday, and we just sit out in the balcony, and we
Have
just
some
chill.
drinks
we just
and
talk.
just chill.
We just look over the Miami skyline.
Look at
Talk
that.
about WoW. Talk about EverQuest.
It's
There
been
it
good.
is.
It's been chill.
Beautiful.
Man, let's just get right into it. So we
Yeah.
always like to start the show off with just asking how did you get into World of Warcraft and playing MMOs? I know you have some history playing EverQuest, so was that kind of where
Yeah.
it started?
Yeah, that is kind of where it started. I was a big like FPS guy, and honestly, like I played a lot of sports when I was a little kid, so I was outside a lot. But like sometimes I'd play like Mario and this and that. And then
Yeah.
I had a friend who had a PC, had a personal PC, which I did not have at this time. I was like 10 years old, and he was playing EverQuest, and he would let me like hop on there, and like I would make like a little like wood elf and run around and die, and then like never get to play again. And then finally, I got my own copy of it, and I was like playing the game. And it was like my first like real intro to MMOs, and I think it was for a lot of people. And then World of Warcraft gets announced, and Warcraft 3 was like my favorite game. Like
Yeah.
I played Footmen Frenzy all the time with my friends, custom games all day, and I just had to play World of Warcraft. I got into the beta, tried it out, loved it, and then I played Vanilla WoW and. Jumped around through a few raiding guilds. It was kind of weird back in the day with vanilla.
Yeah.
Like, people weren't prepared for anything.
Sure.
So,
No,
new
everything
content
was
would
new.
come out. Everything was brand new. New content would come out, and you just had to kind of figure it out. And a lot of guilds back in the day would just implode, and just like it's
Sure.
just throwing your fist against a brick wall. I remember, like for BWL, my guild wiped on Vale for like 2 months. Like,
Wow.
and today that sounds insane because you go into Classic and like Vale's just like
It's just another day. Yeah.
delete him. Like maybe he kills like 2 players on your team and that's it. And so it took months to get through bosses. So multiple guilds fell apart, but then eventually by around AQ, the player base started getting a lot more savvy to what was going on. And I joined a guild called Zisu, and they ended up being server first for a number of bosses
Wow.
through AQ and Nax back on Asgalore, US. And then a bunch of those guys I kept in touch with. And when it came time for Classic, all the Boomer Network woke up and we started talking to each other.
Y'all got together on LinkedIn and
Yeah, and they formed a guild called Relax, and I'm in that. A bunch of the boys are in Relax,
Nice.
and we're on Fairlina, and we're scrapping with all the big boys. And I personally was not in our speed run this last week, but they are now the number 4 guild as far as speed on
Nice.
Fairlina for BWL.
Wow.
Which
That's
is
awesome, man.
pretty fantastic for on Fairlina, which is like
super
amazing.
high competition is on that server. So then you obviously have all of the Spurgs trying to get people's attention and giving them
90% of
gold.
the
Yeah.
Fairlane population.
90%,
we've had a
90%
number
of the
of them.
population logs on whenever Asmongold logs on. Let's be honest, okay?
Yeah, we've had a few of those guys make it into the raids, and usually what happens is they sort of like self-implode and
Yeah.
G-quit. I think we've only had to kick like one or two dudes like since the inception of the guild, and really the core raid team is kind of stuck together,
That's
which is
awesome.
really rare for
Yeah.
Classic and Vanilla and World of Warcraft in general. And everybody's super pumped for AQ. We're very much involved in the war effort, and it's looking good on Faralina, man. This is a great time to play.
Man. Yeah, I've been wanting to get back into it, but I've just been so consumed by all the things farming on my paladin. That is like I think all the things farming is probably my favorite form of content in WoW right now. Just collection stuff. I just
I just downloaded
everything.
all the things today actually just to
It
try
is disturbingly addicting. You will
Yeah.
once you hear the
I'm too scared to try it yet, but I have it there.
once you hear
waiting.
that, you're hooked in.
Yeah.
The way I kind of approach retail is like especially with transmog, is I kind of will get inspiration from a set that I want to build out, and then if I'm missing like one or two pieces, I'll like target that.
Yeah.
And I'll do this like on a number of alts. I'll make myself sick because I just want my character select screen
To look a certain
look
way.
dope. It
Yeah.
just every character needs to pop.
Yeah.
So, I need to just like, if one of them's slacking, like I'm either going to delete it
Unacceptable.
like outright, or I'm going to get in there and like
Just never
really
play it.
deck it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I was really like into classic in the beginning on Faralina. I was playing my mage and I got to 57 and I still haven't even hit 60 yet. But my mage is no longer
right
on
there.
Faralina. We had transferred over a couple of my buddies had transferred over to Heartseeker. It was hard for me to play in the beginning because of the queue. That was really difficult, especially me, having a family, a wife, and kids, and I literally like was on my phone checking queue while we were watching my like nephew's football game. It was disturbing how much I was like waiting in line to play. So we ended up transferring over into the guild fell apart. The typical lesson learned: don't ever transfer anything ever. And then it just kind of got stuck there. And now
Heartseeker was kind of doomed from the start.
Yeah,
right?
It's like 99% alliance. It is so
Really?
It's
insanely unbalanced. So there's
because it was a bunch of like horde dominant servers that they opened it up to.
Yeah.
And so you got the like dregs of the alliance from Faralina and I forgot what other servers had it open.
Whitemane.
And yeah. And so all these people who have like burned their guilds or been G-kicked or just like, just couldn't, or, boomers that just couldn't deal with it.
Sure.
All ended up on Heartseeker, and that's like their home. And, that doesn't really make for a great server dynamic on Classic.
Yeah, it's almost like whenever the British sent all of the prisoners to Australia. That's kind of like what it is. Like Heartseeker's kind of like the Australia of the Classic WoW servers. Like it's just full of rejects and degenerates.
Which, like, maybe by Nax, your rejects turn into what hot Australian women look like today. Who knows?
I doubt
maybe there's a chance
It
for
took a couple
Heartseeker,
hundred
but
years.
yeah.
It took a couple hundred years for them. So
All right, maybe BC. BC.
Okay, I want to talk about BC because obviously nothing's been announced. Heartseeker's like Olympus 12. Yeah, actually true. Heartseeker is Olympus 12. It literally that's all
take.
that's on there. Yeah. So BC. So like, I started in Burning Crusade. I never started in Classic WoW because I didn't know of the game. I remembered hearing about it, but I never played it, and I didn't start playing until I saw my friend play it, and then that's when I was like, oh, like I want to play this game. I saw him play it like at the very end of vanilla, right? So I didn't get the game until 2000 and like the beginning of 2007 or whatever. So, but BC. So like I loved BC. I love Burning Crusade. I like arenas and all that kind of stuff, and I think that there's a lot of really good content for BC. What would you rather see, Classic Plus or BC?
I'll tell you, I am of the mind where I don't want to deny anyone anything. If Blizzard can pull off TBC servers, they should absolutely do it. And this like kind of goes back to my other game, EverQuest, that I play. They do sort of like a progression server where they'll launch a fresh server, and let's say it starts in Classic, and then the first expansion comes out like 3 months later, and they go through all the expansions. I don't think that that's necessarily right for WoW. I think at a certain point you got to stop going back to old expansions.
Sure.
But I do think they're going to do TBC. I would personally rather play on a Classic Plus type environment where there's possibly another raid tier, but if there isn't, at least arenas, because that's like the best feature that was introduced in TBC, bar none. Like arena gameplay, it's evergreen, it's a lot of fun. It really makes you good at your class once you figure out every nook and cranny of what everybody else can do and how you counter it. And it was like, I think, to me, the height of World of Warcraft. A lot of people put it at Wrath. I keep it in TBC because, frankly, Wrath introduced a lot of the ideas that have led to sort of the downfall of World of Warcraft, and it reflects in the numbers, right? You have like the trivialization of old content, the game world designed for flying, and people sort of don't play in the classic era anymore, and open world PvP doesn't really happen past a certain point. So all of those things coming together, I would rather play on a Classic Plus environment and have that as my alternate to the retail game, which I obviously want to be good moving forward.
Yeah. I think Adam and I kind of share the same ideas. Like, I want to play a version of WoW that's good. I want the newest installment of WoW to be the best version of WoW is what I want, because I want to see the story progress, and I want to see class develop, and I want to see new classes and new races and new, maybe even new specs eventually. But
we're not going to play classic WoW for forever, right? Like, we want to see a new version of versions of good WoW. I mean, yeah, of course, people do.
And I think if you can tell who are the real classic gamers. Like, I can say Maxamos is a real classic gamer.
Yeah.
I could tell that you just love it because you played undocumented servers, right?
So I played a little bit of that, but honestly, I kind of kept away. And I the next expansion after Classic and TBC that I really went all in for was Legion. Between that, it would be little drips and drabs. I'd log in just to kind of check the content, whatever. And I didn't really get into the private server world because, frankly, it could be sort of a closed off world. Once you get in there and see what really goes on some of these private servers, it's pretty hard to deal with. And also there's that idea that's always in the back of your mind when you're playing on an undocumented server, which is that I could lose all of this any minute. The server could get shut down, it could get deleted, and then we're done. Yeah. And the thing I like about Classic is I know that Blizzard, in some form or another, will preserve my character. My achievements are going to be there for me to look at anytime. It's my little online trophy case, and it's where all my memories and all my friends are stored. Yeah. And there's something to that.
That's fair. I think if they were to do classic TBC, I think the stopping point should be Wrath. I think Wrath was obviously at the end of Wrath, that's when they added, looking for group, which was, good on paper, bad in execution, and then it just kind of spread. They planted a seed, and then the roots started spreading into every other aspect of the game. Random queue making, kind of that kind of stuff. With
I think that's right.
With the end of Cataclysm was Dragon Soul. That was the first LFR raid, and to me, that's the real end of WoW. Was not the end of WoW, but the end of
it created a new era.
The golden era. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
I think you're definitely right. The thing with looking for group, when it was introduced back in Wrath, and I remember this distinctly, the player base was still of the mindset where they would communicate with each other to accomplish things. Yep. And, they had to be that way through TBC and through most of Wrath. Mm-hmm. But then at a certain point, things shifted to what you see now, which is it's basically just a randomized queue lobby and other players are expendable.
You're just playing with NPCs, essentially.
I hate that.
I think
it's just a completely different flavor of WoW now. Everybody's just playing the game solo and single player. I mean,
everyone else might as well be AI.
I think the real problem was whenever they started merging servers. Whenever they merged servers, because then you didn't have that server identity, right? You could join a guild that's technically on a different server because you had your pocket server of 3 or 4 different servers that were all clustered together, right? Miss Pandaria, whenever they first started adding, phasing and sharding and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like when that happened, that's when like you didn't have to have a reputation. Like you could, you didn't like if you were an asshole in Vanilla WoW, everyone knew you on the server as an asshole, and most likely you wouldn't get invited to guild runs, or I feel like word would spread about you, right?
And that's not coming back. That's
Definitely
over.
not.
Yeah.
That is definitely not coming back to the retail game. I think the closest chance to that is maybe guild identity.
Yep.
But this kind of takes me to server mergers should happen. Like you're talking about the cross server gameplay, but Blizzard has never really gone in and cleaned up some of these dead servers that they have on their server list. And frankly, it's like it's a little hey, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. It's disingenuous.
Yeah.
They charge money for transferring between servers on retail. People do it all the time. They're making a lot of money doing it. But the fact of the matter is that there are servers that Blizzard knows they should merge into others or close, and they just won't do it. Like they just refuse. And the poor people who are on there, I think it hurts the game overall way more in the long run, because put yourself in the shoes of a player who like quit the game a long time ago. His friends want him to come back for Shadowlands. He's still kind of attached to his character, and you log in and the auction house is barren. There's no guilds to join, or maybe there's one guild. Like I'm on Sargeras for my alliance characters, but I had faction changed one, and there's a horde guild. It's like the only horde guild on Sargeras.
Yeah, Sargeras is like 99% alliance. Yeah,
it's called Still on Sargeras.
That's actually a fantastic name for a horde guild on Sargeras, though.
It's sad. It's sad.
That's amazing.
It's the only one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, obviously you have like the huge mega servers in retail WoW. Like you have Illidan is like a horde mega server. Like there are no alliance guilds on Illidan that are, doing any kind of like meaningful, hard content, right? There's no like mythic guilds on that server. And if you play alliance on Illidan, it's like you're playing on an empty server, because you're not going to see anybody in, any kind of.
Well, I think you're going to see that in TBC, frankly, and that's one of the reasons I'm probably not going to go all in, because people know now that the Blood Elf Paladin is just objectively superior in pretty much every way to what the Alliance has, and they also have all the best chamois.
And they
like Draenei chamois is
too.
okay, but yeah, compared to the Horde chamois, they're inferior. So from a PvE standpoint and a PvP standpoint, Horde are just objectively a better choice in TBC. Sure. And I think you're going to see a lot of servers where the Alliance is going to be heavily outnumbered. And that matters because not so much because of open world PvP, because that sort of fades away, except for Nagrand.
Flying.
But flying. So today we have something that we didn't have back then, which is multi-boxers. And flying, just death from above multi-boxers. Like imagine
That's so terrifying.
Imagine No Hit Jerome just swooping down on you. You're just a peepo happy. I'm leveling. I'm in Hellfire Peninsula.
You're just a level,
doing all my quests and things are. I'm collecting wood and
63
pipes.
paladin.
And shit's great. And he just swoops in from below, from above, kills you, and then you pop his stream, and he's slapping his feet together above his head, just loving it. And that's a feels bad, man. I don't want to go through that. So I'm gonna let him go to TBC.
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna chill on Classic.
Wow, I didn't even think about that, because I'm
scared of that.
Multi-boxers are, and bot accounts too. A lot of bot accounts in Classic are right now too.
Can I
That's
ask
a huge
question?
issue.
What's the diff? Like I keep hearing the phrase botting thrown around a lot recently. So I thought that when people say like botting, like people botting, I thought they meant like people multi-boxing. So what's the difference? Is there a difference or what?
There's like programs for multi-boxing where you control multiple versions of WoW with one keyboarder. Botting is 100% automated. You know, it's a program that plays the game for you. You don't press any buttons. You just let it do its thing.
Okay.
And frankly, I don't think multi-boxing should be allowed in the game. I think it's literally pay to win.
It is.
If you're multi-boxing in Classic World of Warcraft, it's pay to win. You have the ability to make far and away more gold and die less than any other player playing on their own or trying to form a group on their own. And you're actually way more efficient than a group of like 5 separate players trying to farm something. I have a huge problem with Blizzard allowing that to go on as deep as they have, but it seems like they've made the choice. They're not going to change. And so that is going to happen in TBC. There are going to be these flying farmers that are just going to take over your server if you're unlucky enough to roll with them.
Yeah. Do you see Blizz doing anything about it? Like,
no. And
it
Jerome
affects their
actually has a
bottom line.
video where he talks
It affects
about
their
this.
bottom line. Like, who cares? Blizzard doesn't care if one person pays, $400 a month for all these other WoW accounts. For them, it's money. Like, for them, it's it's good for their stockholders. It's good for their bottom line. It's good for Bobby Kotick's annual salary in bonus structure.
Yeah.
Everybody at Blizzard wins whenever you multi-box. But nobody.
They don't let them get away
wins.
with murder. I know for a fact that multi-boxers get watched more closely and take more GM scrutiny than your regular player, because Blizzard knows who they are. Obviously, they get on their radar, and they want to make sure that they're not selling gold. So they'll watch very carefully their mail transactions and their trades.
That makes sense.
And if there's an issue, they don't hesitate. They'll whisper you. And I know Jerome has gotten whispers, and I know other multi-boxers that have gotten whispers from GMs like, "Hey, bud, what's going on with this trade?"
Yeah, I think.
That's good, at least.
I think Blizzard, at least being proactive and monitoring, all of the big multi-boxers, I think it's a good thing. I mean, at least they're doing that, because they could just let these players run rampant. If this was like Arc Age Online where they don't give a fuck about their game,
right?
It'd be like, or what is it? What's like the Star Universe, like that new anime?
Star Citizen.
Star something online. It's like you have to like.
I think it's Stargazer or something. I've seen like
cares,
memes about this, but I know nothing
who cares
about it.
About it, right? I think the only game that can kill WoW is WoW, and I think that's going to be true till the end of time. But yeah, I see TBC equals PVE server. I think
maybe.
because now you have arenas, so you can get your PvP fix in arenas once you hit 70, right? So I think that will that might be enough for people to stay on a PvE server to avoid getting killed by F-16 fighter jets falling from the sky.
Let me make the case for staying on a PvP server despite the F-16 fighter jets, the Blue Angels coming above you all the time and just dropping bombs.
The pink Angels, because it's gonna be it's gonna be a blood off paladin.
I'll make the case for staying on PvP. I have had the situation many times, and in my off time on Classic, I get on, and one of the most relaxing things about Classic for me is getting on, going to like Fellwood, just kind of roving around and farming. And I farm all the time. It's like just what I like to do. It's my coziest my little happy place. On Alliance, I just farm like elemental fires and I'm giving things away, but fell cloth and elemental waters. And so I go around in my little circuit and I'm farming endgame mats for consumes for raid. And I sell some stuff, but mostly just for my own raiding. And, I love the situation where I see one other dude and I see him equip his PvP gear. I equip my PvP gear and it's on. Like, we are going to fight for this farming spot. And it is fuck time. And if I lose, I'm getting out, dude. I'm like, hey man, your spot, it is what it is. And, on a PvE server, that doesn't happen. It's like a race to the herb. It's like you just run to it, and if the other guy gets it, like there's nothing you can do about it. So at least I can zap him,
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
that's true.
I don't know. I've always played on PvP servers. I started on a PvP server. My first server was Agrimar. I played Horde on Agrimar, and it was actually it was like a pretty balanced server. Like it was like 60-40. So like pretty much as balanced as it's gonna get, right? And I've always played PvP, and I actually was not a fan whenever they added war mode to the game, because I think that if you decide to be on a PvP server, that's your decision, and I think you should lie in the bed you made. If you really want to play on a PvE server, roll a new character or transfer off. But I feel like war mode, because then I don't know, because I feel like nobody plays in war mode unless they're like the hardcore players who are trying to farm rank 4 essence in Najatar or something. Like I feel like I don't know. That's
well, you guys play more Alliance. I actually recently started playing a lot more Horde, and my experience has been pretty much that they all leave war mode on. It's actually weird if you don't have it on. And then
Yeah. Well,
what
I think it's
what I'd
because
like to
Horde
see,
is
frankly, in the
always
next
on that.
expansion.
Yeah.
And I don't really know if the terrain, because I'm not in the alpha, so I don't know if the
Mm-hmm.
terrain really calls for this. But one of the problems that I have with BFA is that you have these daily quests that encourage you to go kill the other faction's players, and what the behavior from the player base is let me go camp a popular world quest, and we'll just get all our 25 kills in this one spot, and we'll just do that. And I think they need to mix it up a little bit. It can't just be like kill 25 Horde, kill 25 Alliance every week. And they should have added a lot more to the actual terrain. I think maybe War Mode was like a late development idea when it comes to BFA. It was like a fix to a problem.
A lot of things were a late idea. Yeah.
Yeah, but well, with BFA, but they can kind of like actually improve it by designing the game around War Mode. Put in more objectives. Like right now, what's special about War Mode?
Nothing.
They have the stupid plane that flies in the middle of the zone and drops a chest. Like, okay, they could be doing a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Territory control, capture the flag that breaks out at a random
kind of like
point.
how they have like those
draw
PvP
people
objectives in Hellfire Peninsula, where you have like the different objective. Like you have like the different towers in Hellfire Peninsula and TBC.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, they were always Horde controlled, but at least you could try, right? You could try to take it over.
That's what's exciting to me about New World, because I see that a lot in like their promos and everything.
Yeah.
I think they did something recently, like today, where they showed off some stuff, but I missed it. But yeah, that would be awesome. Like I hope maybe in Shadowlands that they put like different like vehicles and stuff you can get into, like in War Mode specifically. Like if stuff like around the world will just spawn, like you can hop into some vehicles and just like fuck people up. I don't know. That would be just like an interesting idea. And like,
one of the most frustrating things about Blizzard and just the way that they release expansions and their ideas is that they always feel like they need to just like, the meme where like you just hit that blue button, like the reset button. Like it always feels like they need to just blow up the previous expansion.
Yeah.
And they've had so many yeah, and they've had so many good individual ideas that if you just nitpicked and grabbed them and just strung them together, you'd have the greatest MMO of all time. And they just have not been able to put it together. There's always been an issue. Like Legion, I think, was my favorite expansion, probably the closest that they've gotten since TBC to doing that.
I would agree with that.
And I just like to see them get there. Just make it, dude. Just make it.
That's why I was like so like heartbroken over BFA, because like Legion was like my ideal expansion. Like I've talked about this a lot before, where like I'm just like a sucker for like class fantasy and just like things to do. So like on multiple characters, like alt friendly gameplay, and then just like
for sure.
BFA came around and then they just took away everybody's class identity and then just like made everything a grind to fill a bar, and that's just like not fun, and I just don't know.
Yeah, I just I think like the biggest thing for me with each WoW expansion, right? Because every WoW expansion had something that was good about it, right? Like I think consistently, Blizzard has always been very good about designing raids and having good. Sorry.
Release the hounds. Dude.
Yeah, they're just coming in. Blizzard has always had very good raids. I feel like 9 out of 10 raids Blizzard will nail. Like story, like the gameplay is good, the mechanics are good, bosses are fun and interesting. A couple a couple misses here, but overall I think raids have always been like a staple. Has always been like a specialty of Blizzard. But I want them to do like where they kind of like. I want them to like pick the best parts of every expansion. So like the best parts of, TBC, right? And then they pick the best parts of Wrath, and then pick the best parts of Kata. Because every expansion has like that one thing that was good about it, and they should apply those and then apply them to the to the newest expansion. I feel like
so far I'm getting that vibe from them already though, because they're putting in the vendors, they're putting in like the benthic upgrade gear style of PvP gearing, and then just like like I feel like Torghast is like a better version of Islands, where like you can target things to do. I don't know. I feel like that's like the direction that they're going in with Shadowlands, and it's comforting to see. So we'll see.
I hope
like,
so.
what else
I
they
hope
announce.
so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
For me, it feels like every time that you think that they understand and that they're listening, they just blow it. So
Yeah.
with the vendor that they added for the corruption, just making it rotating. Like why?
Why?
What are you doing? Who's
why
this
not
for?
just give us the thing? Like
Give them the thing.
Blizzard loves RNG so much that even their vendors are RNG. Because it's not like whenever it rotates, it's not even like whenever it rotates you get like the same like level of corruption. You get different levels of corruption whenever it rotates. So you don't even like have the chance. Like I would understand if it rotated every 3 days and it had every single level available. It had level 1, 2, 3, and obviously each level was a different amount of X amount of currency or whatever. But at least okay, like on Wednesday, if I have this much, I can buy this corruption, and not be like, I hope it's corruption 3.
Sorry. According to Mr. GM, you can get BIS in dungeons now in Shadowlands.
Wait,
so like
that's definitely exciting.
Yeah. So I mean, but my concern is like for how long are those BIS items going to be viable?
Till the next
till
the next season of Mythic Plus.
I mean, I wonder if they'll have like a rotating like level of stats with like the gear or whatever. But like. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how like.
I think you're probably going to see a similar system to BFA, unfortunately, where every patch they just sort of it's a new season of Mythic Plus, and they just like jack up the item level, and it's like the same random item that you can't even name, and you'll never remember it, and it's just on your character, and you just transmog it away, and it's just forgettable.
That so much.
And I think that's going to stay. They may be. Sort of simplifying gear, if that's the right word, by cutting off some of these systems like Azerite and Corruption, and that'll probably feel good for a while. But I think the player base is going to get annoyed there too if they don't get something compelling. And I think one place where they could definitely do that is the tier sets. And I definitely like to see them do something. Everyone wants the old tier sets back, and I love tier sets. I thought it was a ridiculous thing when they took it out of the game.
And then you replaced with Azerite gear.
Yeah. I think they could do something really good there. Maybe even add like color tints or something that you can unlock for the tier sets to make them more compelling.
Mage Tower feel.
Yeah, definitely.
Just give us goals, like
dude.
Give us something to do to work for, like.
I think like I think we're gonna experience a thing kind of like in Legion. When you went from Legion to BFA and you were like fucking everything up from like 110 to 115, and once you hit 116 you just sucked. It like all of your stats went down. You had no cool traits. You had no like your artifact weapon was useless. If you didn't get a weapon by then, like you're kind of fucked. And hopefully you get some Azerite level memes and you can do that kind of stuff. But like and then God forbid if you had freaking Pride as your legendary, then you automatically got that replaced. You couldn't even use that because you had your Heart of Azeroth because it was 100 item levels higher. I think we're gonna experience that same thing in Shadowlands where
definitely
we are overpowered right now. Like my Death Knight should not be able to solo a normal dungeon right now. That's what I feel like.
But you also don't want them to design around that because the player base, the people who have been playing, and obviously we play the game. We log in, our characters are powerful. When the new expansion comes out, you don't want Blizzard to necessarily design the game around you. You want them to design the game, forward thinking for new players, for your alts, players that didn't go through all of the BFA torture, fresh tunes. You might want to level up a new character and go through it, and you want it to feel good. And so, like, you kind of accept that will happen to you when you take in a character who's rated, who's decked out, who's geared out, and your reward is that you blast. I mean, you just go through really fast. So, when it's time to, what I kind of do when I approach like a new expansion is I just try and get to endgame like as soon as possible. And then I'll get on an alt that I didn't really focus on the last expansion. And that's the character that I'm like not skipping cutscenes on, and I'm like really getting cozy and experiencing the game. And I'll usually do that on like a different faction. So like I did cool. Alliance, like just blasted, and then Horde, I took my time and like went through the story and really enjoyed it.
I feel like the Horde story for BFA was way cooler, like leveling wise.
It was a lot more interesting.
Oh, for sure.
You're like killing zombie trolls, like you're just like fucking up Zuldazar and Nazmir, like killing blood demons, and then you go to like Borealis, you're like, oh, I fancy a cup of tea, mate. Oh,
Dude, Horde had
Like,
all the cutscenes this
yeah,
expansion.
so
like they just
cool.
had all the dank cutscenes.
I think
and just
Blizzard
Alliance
favors
was
the
just
Horde.
like,
Which makes me...
Alliance had its moments. I really liked
Yeah.
thus far, but like the zones are beautifully designed. Don't get me wrong. Everything was really well
The
put
art
together.
team's always good, yeah.
But like, no, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I just wasn't as like invested in like the story of like Coltiris and whatever, like that I was like, you know, for the Horde and everything.
Yeah.
But it's funny,
Definitely.
like you're talking about like going back and like leveling like alts and shit. Like I have like all classes and more like up to 120. So like I usually just go into like when a new expansion comes out, I do it all on my main, and then I just like go back and like level up each and every single character that I have. I have like 15 level 120s. It's ridiculous.
Jeez.
Yeah, too much.
That's insane.
I mean, I'm looking at Tack in the chat. Actually, makes a really good point where he says, honestly, the story for the zones were really good, but fuck the overarching story. Holy shit, that was the dumpster fire. Which is true. I mean, true.
I was gonna touch
it just
on
like
that
slowly
too,
turned
because...
into like a Lovecraft tentacle porn, and I was not really signing up for that.
Here's
what I didn't like the most about it was that like a lot of people have the same like problem, is that like the overall villain, like N'Zoth, like wasn't like in your face from the get-go. Like the whole expansion was just like a cock tease to N'Zoth.
I want to finish Blizzard. Let me come,
like,
Blizzard.
Yeah, exactly. It was just, I don't know, like, and it just it tried to tell like so many different stories that just like were kind of pointless anyway. So
not only like let me come, Blizzard, but like Sylvanas, dude. Sylvanas, this like mustache twirling meme of a character they've taken. Like Sylvanas, like in Warcraft 3, that actually used to be like one of my favorite characters. I mained Sylvanas in Heroes of the Storm. I was a big Sylvanas simp, and then this expansion like just shattered any belief that I held about this character. Just like, when can we choke her out, dude? Like, I mean, like, I'm done. I am done. I can't wait to just kill her. It should have happened in BFA. Let's just take care of it.
Overused.
Hopefully not in a cutscene.
I don't think Blizzard will ever kill Sylvanas. I don't think that Blizzard can put their white fedoras down and just kill Sylvanas. I don't think they can do it.
I don't think
they can take off their white knight armor and do it.
I don't put it past them. And I know that we're, probably like, how every expansion has sort of like a subplot that like bubbles up to the end. That's sort of been what Blizzard likes to do with their storytelling. So this expansion was N'Zoth. I think that Shadowlands, the sort of bubbling overarching story that's going to bubble up is this light versus void war that's going on in the background. And, I don't know if you did the... what is it, the Mag'har Orc unlock?
Mm-hmm.
But you go back in time to
Draenor,
or you actually go in the future to what Draenor has become now that the Horde and the Alliance have left. And dude, these lightbound orcs and that is obviously going to come back. I think if not this expansion, next expansion. And I don't put it past Blizzard making Sylvanas like this like warrior of the light.
Oh,
and, like,
please no!
Flipping her that way, dude.
I don't know. I mean, well, the light is actually very, like, predominant in Revendreth, believe it or not. Like, there's a whole portion of Revendreth where it's, like, dried out, and, like, whenever, like, one of the vampire boys go there, they have to put, like, an umbrella up over their head. So, like, because, like, the whole area is just dried out from the light. And, like, I think there's a Dreadlord or something like that, like, involved with Revendreth, who's, like, fucking with the light or something like that. But yeah, so the light is definitely going to be in Shadowlands. Like, I don't know about the void or whatever, but I know there are like void ethereals or whatever in like Oribos and in Bastion and stuff like that. So I'm sure we're going to see more of that stuff. Yeah,
I think
it'll be interesting to see like what other
because they just cut out.
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
I'm back. Yeah. Good.
Okay, we're good.
Is that just me?
Saved Pog.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I think it'll be kind of interesting to see what other sort of Covenant worlds there are out there that they're going to introduce, because it's already been sort of hinted at that this is not it as far as the Shadowlands, that there's other areas to explore that they haven't really revealed yet. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what they have up their sleeves, and I think maybe that's what was maybe going to get teased in this June announcement that got pushed back, that video, that sort of stream that they were going to do. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be like a 10.2 type of situation.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm going into Shadowlands like and treating it like a WoW 2 kind of situation where it's just like a completely new world, and I just want to like separate myself from like the original like mentality
it's
of
kind of
like
like the
being
same
Azeroth.
feel of like TBC where you're not attached
Yeah.
to Azeroth in any way other than of course that like it is the death version like the Deathlands, right? The Shadowlands is where all of the souls of Azeroth go. And obviously like the Legion goes back to the Twisting Nether, dragons go to some other realm, then you have the Emerald Dream, which is like, almost like heaven, which is almost like a heaven state of Azeroth.
Yeah. Do you want to know what I want to know?
Yeah.
Going into Shadowlands, I want to figure out if the spirit healers want us to actually give them our money.
The spirit healers?
Maxamos knows. That was like the
dude,
meme back then.
They want you to break your gear, dude. They want to beat your gear up. They're actually tied in with the armor smiths of Azeroth, dude. It's a scheme.
True. It's true. Yeah. I don't know if you know the chocolate, but like there was a meme back in the day where like if you listen to the spirit healers talk, they would say, "Give us your money." Like play World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it's like all of the repairers, all of like the blacksmiths and WoW, they give the spirit healers a cut of the repairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. Yeah, I can see
You're gonna go to Shadowlands and see some dwarf like kind of like just like negotiating with the spirit healer. Like, okay, what are we setting the repair percent at today?
Listen, hey, real. last month, sales were a little bit low, so we're gonna have to bump up the percentage in order to make our cut the same.
But so going back to the June 9th, like, failed announcement thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting them to delay it like this long. I was expecting maybe like for them to, push
even
it back a week.
Sony only delayed their shit like 2 days. Like.
Yeah, exactly. Like I thought, like of course, like you thought like it's probably because of whatever was going on in the country and everything, but like if it's like at this point, like I feel like it's not related to other.
I don't think it ever was. I don't think it ever was. I'm a huge Blizzard cynic. Whoa. Like, I have seen behind the Blizzard curtain, and when you go to BlizzCon, sometimes that happens. I have a crazy BlizzCon story that I can tell you guys later. But but once you kind of peel back and look behind the curtain, they're a publicly traded corporation.
Yep.
They don't really, there's people at Blizzard that obviously care, that are probably very much moved by what's going on in the country, and that's all well and good. That did not have anything to do, I don't think, with this being delayed to this point. And I think that they're probably delayed somewhat. And this is just like, if anyone's working out there, that, working from home, the protests, all these things have delayed just life and make things harder to get done in any industry, in any situation. I'm a lawyer. I work from home. Sometimes I've been going to the office lately the past like couple weeks, but I'll tell you, there were days where I'm just like sitting at my computer in my underwear drafting a lawsuit, and the world outside is burning, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking that they're gonna announce something like kind of big. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to get my hopes up or anything, but like, I mean, I'm expecting a release date at least.
I think the biggest thing I'm expecting is a release date, and as soon as I know that release date, I'm doing my Shadowlands countdown tweet like I did for Classic WoW.
Oh, please do.
It's coming back.
I love those. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be like a BlizzCon-like type of presentation that we get with Ion and maybe some other members of the team, where they really announce like concrete systems. They show us raid bosses. Mm-hmm. They show us concept art, and then flip it to what the zones are going to look like, and really reveal some like long-term Shadowlands stuff to get us very hype for what's coming. And I'm definitely looking forward to that. Blizzard's very good at that. There's a lot of showmanship, especially on the WoW team. They've been doing this for years. They've been doing it for multiple expansions. They know how to build the hype. I mean, say what you will about how BFA ended up. You were hyped logging into BFA. Your hype levels were popping off.
I wanted to bring this up earlier, but there is an app you can download on your phone. It's called Time Hop, and it shows you like your old social media posts from like 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Oh man, what do you got?
And a couple like I don't. It was I think it was I had a Facebook post, and this is like I was like, man, Warlords of Draenor comes out tomorrow, and I'm so excited. Little did I know, but like. I mean, I was even excited for WoD. Like,
I mean, I think that's just like.
I felt
You didn't like
immediate
farming
shame.
Apexis crystals, dude?
I felt immediate shame when I saw that pop up on my time hop. I'm like, I need to go back and delete that post off of Facebook. It's like,
Yeah.
5 years old now. Like,
I think just because we've been playing this game for so long and we just like hold it so dear to our hearts that like we will, no matter what, always be so excited for the next new thing to come to WoW. Even if it turns out to be complete garbage and then we all quit the game, we're of course always going to come back to whatever they put out. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know why we keep coming back. I think either it was you or Stay Safe Maximus that made the analogy of WoW being our crazy ex-girlfriend that we just keep going back to.
that's Maxamos. Maxamos.
Yeah, that was Maxamos.
It's sort of like a sunk cost fallacy at this point. Like, and like you want to walk away, but then they grab you, dude. They just grab you by the shirt and they're like, dude, we're going to Shadowlands. Like, are you gonna miss out on this? And you're just like, no, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, dear. They drag you along. Your head's down. You're holding Blizzard's purse at the same time.
Let's do it, dude.
It's crazy.
Okay, Blizzard, take me to the
I think.
No, go ahead.
I was going to take it to this BlizzCon situation because BlizzCon's obviously canceled.
Yep.
And we've gotten very comfy since the last time they canceled the BlizzCon with this cadence where every other BlizzCon is a WoW expansion announcement. You know what it's going to be. You kind of can tell what's going to happen. And it's funny, before COVID and all this other stuff going on in the world, I had kind of been a person that was saying on stream, they probably shouldn't do a BlizzCon this year because, BlizzCon 2019, they announced a lot of huge company-wide projects, really big things, and all their teams are still hiring people to make these things they promised that they would make and that they would be, Blizzard quality and good.
Yeah.
And, what has happened since? Warcraft 3 was a disaster.
Horrible.
Who even knows what's happening with Diablo Immortal? I think Warcraft 3 kind of spooked them, and they went back and they're like, we can't release a bad cell phone game. Like, we need to make this thing really good. So, who knows? And so I never really thought that it was a good idea for them to do a BlizzCon 2020 because I don't know if you know this, but about a third of the company, like staff, works the floor during the BlizzCon show. So you'll see devs that are wearing like the BlizzCon staff t-shirt and they're manning the like demo station for like the WoW Classic dungeon demo. And these are dudes that have better things to be doing. Yeah. And they're spending their time working on it. Yeah, it's all hands on deck when they do BlizzCon, and they love it. They genuinely love it, and they get a lot out of it because you play the demo, and like I've had conversations with devs while I'm playing, and then after, where they pulled me to the side and asked me like, what I thought about this, why did I make a certain choice, and like they're like kind of watching you play the games, and they get a lot of feedback that way because that's their first opportunity to watch people play the game in an environment where everybody's very friendly, everybody's super pumped to be there. I think the at-home demo meme, you're gonna see it happen probably. I don't know what they're planning, but I think in some form we're gonna get an at-home demo. I hope that they don't sell it as like some tiered
BlizzCon package,
BlizzCon at home, pay $400 and get to play.
They probably
pay $400 and be able to log into the website
sounds about
first.
Right.
I mean, they probably will, but I think that the feedback won't be nearly as constructive for them as what you get with that live interaction. And I have so many like memories I've gone to 3 BlizzCons. I have so many memories of just like talking to some random dude, and it turned out that he was like, some like off-duty Blizzard employee who was enjoying the show, didn't have to work that year. They do it on sort of like a rotation. And you can sort of like get out of having to do it if you've been there for a number of years. But they all really want to do it, and you just get into these conversations and talk about things and get some real insight on what's going on with Blizzard. And they actually take a lot of this stuff back to the studio and talk about it with each other. And I think not having that for a year is going to hurt them, but it's almost necessary. Like, they all need to put their heads down, develop all these games that they've announced. And, if it sort of pushes back release dates, like, I'm okay with that. That sort of needs to happen, because you saw what happens when they try and rush out a game. Even though it's Blizzard, it didn't work out. I mean, Warcraft 3, I did the refund. I don't know if you guys tried to play that game.
I did
I didn't even buy it.
I wanted to. I refunded it not because I was like upset about how the game came out or whatever the fuck, but like I just didn't have any interest by the time it came out. I was like, you know what? I don't really think I'm gonna go around to playing this. And like I was playing Classic at the time, and I was like, whatever. But
it's hard for me to play other games other than WoW because like I have a Nintendo Switch and I was playing Animal Crossing the other night or whatever when I was laying in bed, and I'm like, I'm here picking weeds on my Animal Crossing island, on my island called Ram Ranch, and and I could be farming Invincible right now. Like what the fuck am I doing with my life? Like why am I here picking weeds? Like what this doesn't matter. This isn't going to be any kind of like the weeds would just grow back the next time. Ram Ranch will have weeds forever. But
dude, you know what I'd love to see them do is like, because the WoW Classic demo was so much fun and the community went wild with it. I don't know if you guys played on it.
Oh yeah.
But like there was a night where there was a duel tournament on in Westfall.
Was it like
and
server
it was
11?
Like Rich, Asmin, S-Fan, Stay Safe was in there, and they were hosting this duel tournament, and I was logged in, and it was just like this crazy cool interactive thing. It was really fun. Really great community event.
Yeah.
And
Paladins
there
are
were a
hard
lot of
fun
memes,
to
dude.
Warlocks.
Dude, it was I was dying laughing the entire time. I was having like literally the best time ever, and it was like kind of a glimpse of what Classic could be. But we never really quite got there with like the community. I think that everyone sort of splintered off in their guilds and their servers. Yeah. But it would be really cool if the virtual BlizzCon actually took place in a zone in World of Warcraft. Like you created a character and just like popped in there,
like a Fortnite
and like there were
event.
like maybe TV screens or something where they're doing the announcements and you're logged in.
Like this a VR chat.
This is never gonna happen.
VR chat.
But yeah, like a VR chat with just like all the boys, dude, just cozy together online together. That's what I want to see.
That's a really great idea. Fuck,
That'd
they don't
be
have
awesome.
the server capacity to do that.
They'll never do it.
Oh,
they
God,
will never do
no.
it.
Like Blizzard's cheap, tiny little
Fortnite
servers
somehow
can
figured out
afford
how
it.
to do that, but
I
like
don't know,
they will
man.
never do it for Blizzard.
I think Blizzard should still do some sort of like video or live stream, even if they're just like live streaming it from their studio, right? Like how they do like the dev interviews with Ian and all that kind of stuff. I think they should do something like that for BlizzCon, and I don't think they should charge for it at all. I think it should be free. Because like they have no overhead to cover, because the reason why they charge so much for BlizzCon is because they have to pay for the convention center and all of the like it costs a shit ton of money to put on a show like BlizzCon, and so they have to make their money back.
Do you think
somehow.
it'll be discounted? Like hypothetically,
I don't think
I don't think you'll see like a $200 ticket.
I think it'd be like $50.
I do think.
Well, I mean like a $50 virtual ticket still. I mean.
I know for on pretty good authority that BlizzCon itself doesn't make the company that much money as an event.
They do it for love.
The merch sales do actually bring in a lot of money, but the event itself doesn't. It's really more of like a hype thing.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's all built around. It's just
thing.
like driving up hype and then moreover, it's just a party for the community.
Yeah.
And it's really a part of like what the company is.
Yeah.
If they stopped doing BlizzCon, I think that would basically be the end for the player and the fan loyalty that we all have. And we all want to see Blizzard do well, even though we know that they're, this publicly traded company and all that. We still sort of brush that under the rug and still have like that sort of like, this is sort of a weird metaphor, but like Disney fans, like this is a little cringe, but like those hardcore Disney fans that are wearing like, the necklaces with all the pins that they've
Disney
collected.
Tattoos.
Yeah.
We're those guys. I don't know if you guys know.
But
we are those
cringe.
dudes.
We're on the same level.
We say that we're less cringe, but
I still can't believe that I went to BlizzCon, man. I like ever since I started playing, kind of like whenever was the first BlizzCon. I don't know.
Guys.
Ever since I first found out about BlizzCon, like I've always wanted to go to BlizzCon, and like I've watched every live stream of BlizzCon ever since I first found out about it, and then finally I found an IRL friend that wanted to go with me. I was like, fuck yeah. And then we just went out. We just did it, man. And then I met you. I met everybody else.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with BlizzCon.
So crazy,
I've been wanting to go to BlizzCon for years now, and like I always try to plan it. I think it's something that you just have to just to do. You just have to do it. Like you can't like sit there and plan it and ponder on it. With me, like my wife doesn't give a fuck about WoW. I tell her things about WoW. She pulls the grammar card. That's nice, dear. Like she doesn't give a fuck what I say, about WoW. she loves me, of course, and she wants me to tell her all the things, and she'll listen to me. She'll listen to me tell all the things that I'm complaining about WoW.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she's like, I don't care about WoW. So like,
Yeah.
I could never get her to go to BlizzCon with me. Like, it'd be like me going by myself, and like, I don't want to go by myself. I want to bring her with me. Maybe I'll just get my daughter into WoW.
Yeah. You should be doing that already.
That's the move.
But it's like Mr. GM who takes his
really
girlfriend
tiny
every
hands.
year, and she doesn't even play WoW. I think she just started like dabbling in it, but she's never played WoW, and she's just gone like maybe like 3 times with him so far. She just doesn't know anything about the game. She just goes to go.
My wife's a Disney girl, okay? So like,
Yeah.
I could like just say, hey, let's just go to Disneyland the same weekend of BlizzCon. Coincidentally,
Yeah.
it's the same weekend. So weird. Well, you
And
go to
it's right across the
Disneyland,
street.
and I'm just gonna be over here with Maxamos,
Yeah, right.
and I'm actually so mad that y'all didn't Photoshop me into that picture that you posted on Twitter. Because like, I actually got a little
I'll
jealous.
get right on it.
I actually got a little jealous.
It was so funny meeting Adam at BlizzCon because it was the first time. Like, I only started streaming when I got into the Classic WoW beta the second day that they did invites.
Okay.
Because I remember the first wave was like all of the big streamers.
Yeah.
And then like everyone else just felt terrible. And I got home from work the second day, and I had worked late. It was a shitty day, and I opened my my launcher. I didn't even have an email from Blizzard, and it was just
showed
there.
up.
So I was like, holy
That's how
shit,
it works.
I need to stream. So I
Nice.
just started streaming when I got into the beta, and the beta was so much fun. I mean, that was really like, all the community stuff that sort of carried over from that Westfall demo sort of like came into the beta, and it was this big, like, all these streamers were there, and it wasn't like, you didn't have the queue situation, and it was level capped, so it didn't like get too crazy.
Yeah.
And it was just like, there was a lot of open world PvP, and everyone kind of understood their characters were going to get deleted, so they were just like kind of
Okay,
YOLO
have
about
fun.
it.
Yeah.
And it was just a really, really good time. But when I was like walking between the convention center and I think the Hilton like lobby bar, and all of a sudden this car like drives by, and someone like yells out like Maxamos, and I was with my friends, and they were like, dude, did you just get like recognized? You're like a streamer. And it was like the first person ever to like recognize me from like stream. It's like,
Wow, I
See,
didn't know
like-
that. Well, I'm on.
Yeah,
Like, I don't really care about like the convention itself. Like, I love BlizzCon, and I always watch it online. But
Yeah.
I think the thing that I want the most, especially like now that I'm like so like intertwined with like the Twitch WoW community, is just meeting all the people that I talk to every single day in chat. All the people that are spamming yep cock in chat. Like, I want to hang out with
True.
those people.
You don't
Yeah,
want to meet
it was-
all of them.
Maybe not all.
True. It was crazy. Like I say this all the time. Where like, when I went like and I saw like everybody that like I talked to, right? Like, and like not even everybody that I talked to, but like most of the like other YouTubers as well. Like everybody that I met. Like, I just, like, talked to them, like, as if I already knew them. Like, I went up to Caden House, one of the former CMs, like, in the lobby of the Hilton. And I was like, oh, like, I'm Adam. Like, we fucked with you once, like, when we were testing some BG, whatever, me and Mr. GM. Like, oh, yeah, cool. We just, like, had, like, a fucking hour-long conversation about nothing. It's just, like, about about the game and shit. And we were, like, just, like, we were best friends or some shit. It was crazy. But, like, the funniest thing was, like, when I saw Maxamos again, like, in the convention, it was like a chain reaction of events. My friend had to go to the bathroom. He was taking a long time. So then, like, I was just, like, kind of walking around, like, while I was waiting for him in the bathroom. I see Patty Matson walk by. I'm like, oh, shit, Patty Matson. So I'm like, oh, I went to go talk to her. I took a picture with her, like, told her, whatever. And then I'm walking back, and I see Ian Hazakosis. And this was, like, the second time that I already met him. So I went up to go say hi to him. I got a picture with him, whatever. And then I'm walking around, and then I run into Maxamos, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I lost my friend. And he helped me charge my phone a little bit, get some juice in there, set me on my merry way. Gave me a power magnet that I still have on my fridge.
Hey,
And
I got mine
yeah.
right here.
There you
You
go.
saw
It's on my
Perfect.
computer. My daughter loves it. I have the sticker that I won in Maxamos as a giveaway back in the day on my little
Those were the days,
mixer.
dude.
I want.
Did you ever
I
give
need
one
to
to
get
Stay
more
Safe?
for my
Did you ever
water
find
bottle.
one?
You know what? We did hang out with Stay Safe, and it was like that Thursday night before BlizzCon, and I didn't have the stickers and magnets with me, And
Oh, shit.
I was hanging out with Lincoln Craig during the convention a bunch, but we just never like saw Stay Safe. Like he was just all over the place. So I just gave a bunch to Lincoln Craig, and I don't know if they ever made it to Stay Safe. I don't think they did.
I saw Stay Safe like a couple of times like throughout the convention, and he was just like walking around all in white with his highlights at the time, and he was wearing sunglasses in the convention center with Amelia on his arm.
Yeah.
And he looked like fucking Justin Timberlake walking through this damn convention center. So crazy.
There's a great picture of Shannon, my girlfriend, and she was wearing white pants as well, and like they matched, and they were like they did this like super like weird pose together. It was good times. It was fun. That Thursday night before was just it's so like the Wowhead party never ceases to amaze. Like it is always just such a fun time. It's honestly one of my favorite nights of the entire con, and especially because everyone's just so pumped, like they can't wait for the next day. You know, and it's just a great time. BlizzCon's crazy.
Yeah, it's just
crazy.
Yeah, I can't wait to go. Drunk nerds. Maybe in 2021. Maybe 2021 will be my year.
Dude, definitely.
That'll be the expansion year, right? Then when they announce a new expansion, right?
Well, maybe, right? Who knows? Like, who knows?
I mean, and even if it's not, like, it doesn't matter because I'm still going to BlizzCon. So.
Yeah, I've been to an off-WoW expansion BlizzCon, and I'll tell you, I mean, my circumstance was unique because I went to the Diablo Immortal BlizzCon.
Ooh.
And, man, like, the vibe at that BlizzCon was so different. My first year was 2017. It was, like, the BFA announcement, and there was a ton of hype. We had a great time. And just my second year, it was just totally different. There was like this sort of like air of like betrayal in the air. And people like turned really quickly. Like Wowhead the night before was a lot of fun. And then all of a sudden, like the rest of the con just didn't feel as good. And I almost didn't go back. If it were not for like all the friends that I've met just like through Twitch and Discord and all of that, this past year, I probably wouldn't have. But that got me to go, and I'm happy I went because this last BlizzCon was awesome.
An absolute banger.
All the way around, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It was so funny. The kid that went up during the WoW Q&A and like started shouting out "Free Hong Kong," like the little kid, like he sat right in front of us. he was sitting right in front of us. His parents. It was the weirdest thing.
Nothing like forcing your kid to forge a political agenda.
Oh, that was
nothing. There's nothing better. You know.
Yeah.
Especially,
just all these people that try and like make jokes or whatever when they're up there, like so
for the horde.
Like, oh god, dude.
I love when they go, "Hi, I'm Craig from Illidan on the guild. This guild is still on Illidan."
Yeah.
And like, who the fuck? Answer your question.
Nobody cares anymore.
And get the fuck out of here.
I don't even watch the panels when I go to BlizzCon. Like I don't sit through them because like they're all you get the virtual ticket anyway. So there's a VOD later where you can just watch all those panels and like there's no benefit to like sitting through it while it's happening. And there is so much other stuff going on at BlizzCon to check out, to do. There's like, merch to go check out. There's like little fun mini games, playing the demos. Like that's definitely something I love doing.
I saw the skateboard that you got from BlizzCon. That thing is badass, dude.
Yeah, dude. The Lich King skateboard. Yeah, you've never seen this? Oh, let me go get it. Let me go get it.
Okay, boy, she's gonna go.
Let me go get this thing.
This is what I was hoping for.
Me running.
No, yeah, what was I gonna say? No, yeah, like when I was at BlizzCon, like it just felt like if I wanted to go see a panel, like I would sit down and watch the panel, but like something else would be coming up like right after, and I would have to like run from like to the other side of the convention center just to make it. You know what I mean? So like a lot of things were missed. So like if a lot of things were happening kind of at the same time. Holy shit!
That thing is so cool, dude.
That's awesome.
Damn.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts.
Yeah, that thing
I hope you have that like hanging on your wall or something like that.
So I don't right now. I'm gonna mount it and then put like some blue LEDs behind it and get it like really frosty looking in the background for the stream.
That'd be nice.
Dude. And this thing was like $60.
What? That's like the price of a normal skateboard. Like,
how did you get that home?
That was tough. That was some Tetris. With my.
If you're wearing a backpack, you put the skateboard in. I used to be a skateboarder, and so whenever I would travel around, I would bring my skateboard with me.
Yeah.
You put the skate if you don't have a backpack that's for it, you put the skateboard sideways, like across the straps, and you put it like you just have it like on your lower back, and it's just kind of sticking out like little wings. That's how you do it.
Smart.
That's the best way.
That reminds me though. One day I wanna get a Frostmourne and just like mount it on the wall. Put it right next to a Long Claw, and Anduil Flame of the West. I want a fucking sword collection, man. One day.
You have so much like wall real estate behind you. I want you to do
like,
something with it.
Yeah, I mean, originally I had the desk like set up like pointing the other way of the room, but I don't know. I have a lot of shit. I'd rather just like have it like
New York
pointing this
apartment
way.
life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, last week I had a humidifier just sitting in the background. Like it wasn't even like put together or on. It was just taken apart, and it was just sitting back there for like 2 weeks straight. I just threw it in the closet. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think BlizzCon 2021 is going to be a really good one. I really want, obviously, the retail game to be good. You know, like I think everybody wants a good new version of WoW. I think Shadowlands is moving in the right direction. There are some things I'm concerned about with like especially with Torghast, because I feel like they're putting a lot of emphasis on Torghast, and I feel that by 10.1 or what is it? Oh no, 9. No, we're on 9.3 right now, right? Or 8.3.
8.3. Yeah.
8.3.
Yeah. So I think 9.1. Everyone's gonna be like, well, I've already done Torghast. I already know how to do it. I think what they should do is almost like the Mythic Plus seasons, where they should switch it up to be like, okay, we're like season 2 of Torghast, where there's new enemies, there's new like rooms. Everything changes about it, right? Because it's this magical tower that is shifting and always evolving and changing, and you never get the same room twice, kind of thing. And I think they can really play on that and really be like, change the color scheme up, add like more red into the tower, just to give it a visual appearance that it's different, and you're like, oh fuck, like the tower is learning that, you know, we're going through and fucking it up. So like, I feel like they could really make it, you know, something really cool. And I think there should be like an achievement, like you hit like a certain level, you know, level 100 or whatever it is, and you get some sort of achievement, and that can be like a meta achievement for the next season of the tower.
Yeah,
I think they're still figuring it out, and you're gonna have to give Blizzard a little bit of leeway. Even though honestly they should be letting a lot more people into the alpha to test this stuff.
Agree.
But you gotta give
nobody
Blizzard a little bit more leeway, because this is a new system.
Yeah.
You know, they're peeling back a lot of other systems that they've, you know, sort of tried and failed on. One thing that's kind of weird is like, you know, they put a lot of emphasis on this AI from the islands, and you didn't really see that work out. But you know, I think that the AI itself wasn't really the problem with islands.
Fine.
Yeah, like they were kind of fun and, you know, cool, whatever. I'd like to see something like that make its way into Torghast, where like you have to, you know, deal with something more than just your everyday World of Warcraft enemy. And I'd like to see that sort of like spread out on a bigger scale. And maybe that might be the answer for making it more compelling. But right now, I think probably that first patch is going to be rough. I think people are going to really enjoy unlocking the covenants and getting the transmog and doing all the quests and, you know, playing through the raid, but it's probably going to still feel BFA like in a new world,
in a new skin,
you know, just with like sort of like peeled down. And then, you know, as Blizzard sort of sees how we interact with the content, they'll add some stuff in. So I'm probably going to focus more on Classic, to be fair, around launch, and then sort of like pop in when the dust is sort of settled on Shadowlands. And check it out.
Yeah, I think because like with Legion, right? Like I love Legion. I think Legion is one of my favorite expansions. There was some things wrong with it, but overall I loved it, right? And I think they did a really good job with storytelling in Legion, with like your character class hall. Like your character class hall was cool and it was engaging. And it sucked having to be like time gated with the whole, you know, follower board or whatever. That I don't like, but I can see I can get over that when there's really cool quests where you're going to like you're going to Hillsbrad, or you're like a paladin, you're gonna go fuck up some Death Knights, and like that to me is really cool. Or when you're a Death Knight and you go turn Uther, and you get people to join your Death Knight who are paladins before, and you raise them from the dead as like your eternal Death Knight, you know, slave almost. Like they hate being a Death Knight because they're a paladin and they they died like for a noble cause.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to. I think they're moving in the right direction with the Covenants because you're gonna get that same kind of feel, right? Your Covenant's gonna have a story that's attached to it, and you're gonna see that story progress, and you're gonna obviously equip and have all the cool new things. But I think they need to focus on class more than anything. I think that's what
for sure
Blizzard needs.
Yeah,
to
I think
do.
Covenants is kind of how they're doing that. So I don't know that they're gonna go that direction. I think they're maybe cutting corners a little bit because we did get these rad like class hall campaigns and like I don't know if you like the Death Knight one. It was incredible.
So cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So sick. And like I played a bunch of them, but like that by far was just like the best one.
You just feel like a badass. You're just like
yeah, dude, it was awesome. You're like pulling up the Lightsoap Chapel to like steal a paladin. Like what? But yeah, that was really cool. But I don't think you're gonna necessarily see all the classes get that quality. As far as like a class story, but I think the Covenant stories could potentially be even better than your best class story from the Legion class halls because there's less of them to work on.
Yeah.
So you want to see that hopefully they put in the extra time and make that something good.
Yeah.
I think they're modeling the Covenant like campaign like after the like Order Hall campaign stuff.
Yeah,
so,
I mean that stuff all worked. Like that, that all worked.
Yep.
It hit.
For
It
sure.
worked fine. I was all good with that. I think what's crazy about Legion is like if Legion would have never even gotten Argus, I think it still would have been a good expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like and then they hit us with like space orcs, and I was like blown
Argus
away
was
because
fun,
they pulled that off amazingly. Like Argus was great. And there's a lot of fun collection stuff there, and that was really fun.
And it was dangerous.
And I just for some reason, just like the later content of BFA just never really hit like that.
I wanted to touch
There's
on
so
this
many
earlier.
systems that I just can't even keep track of.
Well, yeah, it's definitely system overload, but with the story of BFA, right? Because like it was like this dumpster fire, like we're fighting each other, and then all of a sudden, tentacles come from the ground and slap us around, and then now we're fighting N'Zoth. And I talked about this last week, but N'Zoth is one of the coolest characters in World of Warcraft. He's like he didn't have any kind of art, like official art, until Hearthstone came out. Like Hearthstone was the first official Blizzard art of N'Zoth, and like that was very cool because it's something that nobody's seen. I feel like N'Zoth could have been his own expansion. I feel like they could have made it like
should happen.
Like a Lich King, right? Instead, we get this shitty patch where we're in Oldham and Pandaria, and we don't even have Ny'alotha as a zone. Like Ny'alotha could have been like at least a zone. It could have been at least somewhere we could have gone a hub, like Nazjatar. Nazjatar and Mechagon were awesome. I had a lot of fun playing those zones. Obviously, over time they get a little stale, but from at the start, it was cool to have something new to go to. It was cool to have a new zone to go to with you're fighting all of these rusted, broken down mechs, and then you're fighting these giant sea creatures and fish boys, and I just want to see like a really cool antagonist in a Blizzard game in WoW.
For sure. I'm excited to see like what they do with the Jailer, and like I want to find out more about
I think the
him.
Jailer is a really cool character.
I don't want them to have like the main villain be Sylvanas again.
It's going to be. I will bet you $10.
I can't do it. She's got to go to 9.0. She's got to go.
I don't know, Adam. You don't understand. There are so many Sylvanas simps out there in the world that like BFA didn't change their minds.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like in fact, it might have even pulled them in harder.
True.
Like they want her around. They
love her. They love Sylvanas, dude.
Max,
I don't know, dude.
What do you think of like a little off topic? But what do you think of like the whole Covenant ability situation? Like having to pick a Covenant based off of their ability rather than like lore.
I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but I don't think Blizzard understands their player base still to this day. That what the average World of Warcraft player does when they log into the game is they open up Google and they look up best Death Knight build, best Death Knight Covenants, best Death Knight this, and that's the ones that they pick. And so it's very hard for Blizzard to put in and design active and passive abilities that get unlocked from taking a certain path through the game. And I think that Covenants are probably the biggest risk system for failure for this expansion besides Torghast. But I think that it could be rectified later. I'll give them some leeway. We'll see how it goes. But I see a lot of issues with going this route and making it difficult to transfer between them. I think a better approach would actually be to pick and choose your favorite Covenant abilities from the different Covenants and actually adding them into your kit, sort of across Covenants, and maybe allow you to be a member of more than one. And I know lore-wise, maybe that doesn't jive well with everyone, but I think gameplay-wise, that's probably going to be the best balance at the end of the day to make the game feel fun and make your character feel invested in the Shadowlands story. And there's actually a lot of crossover in the lore between the different Covenants. They're at war with each other in some points, and I think you're going to see them working together in other points of the expansion. So there's definitely an opportunity to put that in later if they're not going to do it right from the beginning. But that's definitely a very risky play by Blizzard doing it this way.
Let's be honest. We're all just going to get echoes of the Shadowlands as a currency in 9.2, and we're going to have some sort of vendor that we can just buy the Covenant abilities from the vendor.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the only way to fix this situation is to just give us all 4 of the abilities, but let us choose which one we want at one time. You know what I mean? Because we're at one point we're gonna at least be trying out all 4 of the abilities, because we're gonna have each ability in each zone.
Yeah.
So why not at the end just be oh, thanks for helping all of us. Here's this one ability, but then you have to choose one of our Covenants to stay loyal to and build a soul bind off of. You know what I mean? So,
I think what they should do, because you got to think about too, as the game progresses, the as every single patch, one person said in chat, they obliterate the last patch whenever they do a new patch. Anything from the last patch, no one gives a fuck about. So what if Revendreth is BIS for the raid in 9.1, but 9.2 comes out and that's not as good. So now Ouroboros or whatever, which one, the Rev or Ardenweald or whatever is now the best one because of this mechanic and this boss. This is a way you can kind of cheese it a little bit to kill the boss a little bit faster. I feel like them making solutions for 0.01% of the player base, the method gamers, the complexity limit gamers, I think that's a bad idea. I think that's bad game design for the general population. I think that they should give those players those certain things that they can do. I think the Mage Tower was a good example. If you're in the 36 club or whatever, you have every single Mage Tower appearance unlocked. That's something that a hardcore player does. You have to have a ton of alts, and then you have to have those alts fairly geared to do the Mage Tower, right? So that's a lot of game time. So you have something that's for the hardcore players. But, if you just want to get one, hey, you get one. But I feel with the Covenants, you're going to see a lot of method gamers have 4 alts, one for each Covenant.
Yeah.
And they're just going to, and then they'll have the articles on Wowhead to say which one's the best, and then you can just choose from there.
For sure.
That's the issue.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the one that I think is the coolest. I'm probably just gonna go with Revendreth.
The one that looks coolest to me. That's the one I'm gonna pick.
Revendreth and Maldraxxus for me.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm heavy metal Maldraxxus all day. I'm sorry. I'm just
Maldraxxus on my DK. I'm going Maldraxxus on my DK. Revendreth on my warrior. The light. What's the light one?
The Bastion.
Bastion on my paladin, and then my little cute little night elf druid is gonna go Ardenweald.
You know what's weird?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, how are they going to do war mode in these new zones? Because, at BlizzCon, Adam, I don't know if you played the Bastion demo, but the Horde and the Alliance essentially start in the same spot on that demo. I don't know if this is how it's going to be on launch. And all the quests kind of keep the Horde and the Alliance bunched up together.
It's a linear
it doesn't
quest
seem
line,
like there's much of a difference. Faction doesn't seem to matter at all. And normally you've had it where there's different hubs. The players sort of run into each other for a quest or two, but then the path for their quest kind of takes them in different directions, so they can sort of naturally keep away from each other. If you turn war mode on launch, what is that going to look like in Bastion, dude?
I have no clue. I mean, maybe they'll just say fuck it and just let us do whatever we want.
Yeah, maybe.
but at the same time, I have a feeling that they're gonna let us like move away from the Alliance versus Horde thing and do like the Covenant versus Covenant thing. So like instead of like Alliance versus Horde in a PvP battle, it'll be like Reverend Dreth Covenant versus.
It would be fun if they introduced some sort of BG queue for that, like introduce a new BG, and then you
like,
go in
some sort of like monthly competition or weekly competition for just
that,
like
that could be something.
Brownie points or whatever. You get like some sort, you get like an achievement or whatever.
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool. Like if your Covenant wins like the most honor points or whatever, or however they want to calculate that out or do that, make it some sort of competition. I think that'd be really cool.
It'd be awesome.
Hell yeah.
But boys, holy crap! It's been an hour and 20 minutes now. That we've been doing this.
It's the longest we've gone, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. This is one of the longer episodes.
It's so cozy, man.
It's
you
just
guys are so
the
easy
boys,
to talk to.
hanging out. I feel like I'm on the balcony. I feel like I'm sitting right across from you on the balcony right now.
on a romantic date.
One day, dude. One day.
Dude. Hey.
Yeah. My mom literally just texted me telling me to look at flights to come down to Florida, so I'll keep you updated on that.
Hell yeah, dude. Let's do it.
Yeah. But I'd love to have you as like kind of a regular sometimes if you're down.
Dude, I'm always down.
Yeah.
I'm always down. This has
For
just
sure.
been very good. Very
For
nice.
sure.
I was looking forward to this when I saw you guys announce that you were doing this. I just thought it was going to be such a great thing, and Adam's like content is really popping off on YouTube.
Adam's killing it.
And Chocolate streams are always cozy. So
Spursy.
I just think it's a good combo. You guys are putting together something really nice, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing who else you guys get over these next couple of weeks, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's a lot of fun, man. Like honestly, like I just will DM somebody like on Monday morning, be like, hey, like, do you want to be on the podcast, or do you want to be on the podcast next week, or I guess technically Tuesday morning because we do it Monday night. So I'm like, hey, do you want to let's do the podcast next week? And hopefully they say yes, but we don't know who is confirmed for next week, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll make the announcement on Twitter very soon. Yeah, we'll make the announcement on Twitter very soon.
Nice.
Dude, Maxamos, thank you so much, man. Guys,
hey, man.
Obviously, and also thank you for hosting us earlier. I really do appreciate that as well. We're killing it today, boys. We're killing it. We had some new follows, boys. If you're not following, follow this channel and also follow Maxamos' stream as well. Sub to Adam on YouTube. He made the Make Love Not Warcraft 2. How many views is that at, Adam? How many views are we sitting at?
Last I checked was like 45,000 views.
45,000 views. Holy crap!
That's crazy,
I wasn't expecting that at all.
That's a stadium filled with people, by the way.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man.
If
That's
you think
great.
about
Have you heard anything from like Matt and Trey?
No, not at all. No.
Because when you first posted it, I was like, I think I might have like added them or something, or you did. And I was like, so like they've retweeted stuff from fans before.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Like,
I don't know.
I'm like kind of frustrated with them. Like, dude,
I'm frustrated too.
Acknowledge him.
Please
Thanks,
notice him.
The one thing that I really want to see in Shadowlands is some sort of reference to at least the Griefer, because he's dead and somewhere in the Shadowlands, or maybe Kenny or something like that, or some.
Yeah,
that'd be hilarious.
There's no South Park reference in WoW
Blizzard?
other than on the sword.
Then the sword, yeah.
Yeah, like that's it. Like I'm surprised that their NPCs aren't just like chilling in Goldshire or some shit like that.
That episode brought so many people into the game, and it came
yeah.
at like the perfect time, because I don't know if you know this. They recorded that episode on a beta client for TBC.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah. And I forgot exactly what year it launched, but I think it launched still while we were in vanilla, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have come out like towards the end of vanilla, right before TBC, and it just like came out at like the perfect time culturally. People were like first getting their first like semi-powerful PCs, and they could actually access an online MMORPG. The internet was getting a lot stronger, and everything just like coincided. I have so many friends that still play the game to this day. That episode is what threw them in. And I remember like kind of being in high school, and I was like one of the only people that really like was deep into WoW. I was raiding, and I had all of a sudden all these other friends that kind of like knew that I played, asking me questions about the game after that episode came out, and I saw them like kind of all start up, and I ended up actually running on an alt back in vanilla, like an alt MC raid, just to get like my high school friends some like tier gear before BC.
That's awesome, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
as
Yeah.
soon as I saw that episode, I jumped right in. I was like, "Yo,
Yeah,
Dad,
man.
take me to GameStop. I need to get this game." He's like, "Oh, sure, son, whatever." And then we both like him and I sat together in front of the screen trying to pick a character. I'm like, "Oh, I have to be the night elf druid because I want to turn into a cat and like a bear and whatever the fuck." And then my dad was like, "Oh, what do you want to name it?" And then I'm like, "I have no idea. What should I name it?" And he's like, "Oh, how about Maximus from Gladiator?" And I'm like, "Okay." And then I spelled it completely wrong. And then when I first met you, I was like, "Holy
fate.
shit, your name is Maxamos," like the way I
fate.
spelled it. It's crazy.
Dude, I'm trying to
Fate.
remember if I had gotten my name from Gladiator or like before Gladiator, but it was I actually got my character name back from EverQuest days. There was a guy named Maxamos, the same way I spell it in EverQuest when I was like 10 years old, and I just ripped that off when I started playing WoW, and I've just like stuck with that ever since. And that guy is probably a boomer. He may not even be alive at this point, because I remember he was like very good at EverQuest, and like who even knows? But it's just stuck ever since. You know, and it really hasn't had much to do with the Gladiator aesthetic, but it was like this one dude in EverQuest that was like this gamer god to me when I was like 10 years old. He had like all the gear, and I just like wanted to be him. And then when I played World of Warcraft, I was like, I'm him.
I'm gonna be
That's
him.
fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
I don't know, man. The name Chocolate started out back in WoD actually.
Pronounced chocolat.
It was just a Tauren shaman, dude. Just a Tauren shaman. He was a very good boy, and I just named him Chocolate, and you know, there it is.
There it is, dude.
And now we're here, boys. Thank you so much, everyone in Twitch. I thank you guys so much for you know tuning in and hanging out. We really do appreciate it. You know, obviously all of the follows and the Twitch primes and you know the hosts and all that good stuff. You spelled chocolate wrong. False, dude. Actually false. And no. Maxamos, and any last you know closing statements or anything that you want to you know promote or shout out or anything like that, please.
Yeah, definitely follow my stream on Twitch. I have been streaming a lot of EverQuest lately, but I promise I'm gonna get back to classic World of Warcraft stuff on stream. It's been a little difficult with work, but definitely twitch.tv/MaxamosTV. Follow me on Twitter. Same handle, MaxamosTV. And then I also recently started throwing up YouTube videos, but maybe ignore that for a little while I'm still figuring that out.
Okay.
I'm still figuring that out. So
All right.
We'll see.
I saw your video that you posted, and of course I didn't know what you were talking about because it was EverQuest. Yeah. But I mean, I would love to learn more about EverQuest. And then I looked back, and you have like 12-year-old, 13-year-old footage from Vanilla WoW.
Those are my original Vanilla WoW raid videos, and it's crazy because it's so a couple of different guilds, but like it's like shitty fraps. Like,
are there any gamer words in those videos?
No, they're it's all music. It's totally gonna get DMCA'd any minute, and it's just like they've been around on YouTube for like 12 years, like for so long, and I think I threw them up like after Vanilla was over, but I used to like record the videos for my guild, and those were all the ones that I still had like the files for, so I just like threw them on later, and they've just been floating around ever since.
That's awesome, dude.
So that's my street cred. I was actually there.
True.
I was there, Pog.
Yeah. I was there. Boys, again, thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out. We will see you guys next week for another episode of PUGCast. I'm gonna be streaming for a little bit longer after this. I don't know if we wanted to do a Mythic and Taurus raid or what we want to do, but I'm definitely not gonna be running any Mythics tonight. I cannot stand Mythic dungeons. They stress me out. My hair is receding from them. So Maxamos, if you want to join in and play a little retail on your,
dude, I'd love to. I got work tomorrow.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot that
dude.
I'm like temporarily unemployed.
I'm a grinder, man.
Well, boys, stick around if you guys want to hang out. I appreciate it. Maxamos, have a good night, man. And okay,
good night.